Let us begin Chapter 2, Sections 3 and 4. Problem number 1, solve each of the equation. So here let's distribute first before we solve. So you have negative 4y plus 10 is equal to negative 2 times 3y is negative 6y. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So now let's combine like terms. So let's bring the 6y to the other side. So let's add 6y, which cancels the 6y. So you have negative 4y plus 6y, which is 2y, plus 10 equals negative 2. Combining the 10 with the 2, so let's subtract 10 from both sides. So we have 2y is equal to negative 2 minus 10. Again, you have the same sign, so same sign you add, and you keep the sign. So you have negative 12 divided by 2. So negative 12 divided by 2 is equal to negative 6. Again, a positive or a negative divided by a positive is equal to a negative. So here let's do the second one. You do the same thing. Let's distribute 6 minus 15x plus 24x equals to 12. Here we have negative 15 and 24 on the same side, so let's combine before we move around. So you have the 6 negative 15 plus 24 is 9x is equal to 12. Moving the 6 over to the other side, it cancels. So you have 9x is equal to 12 minus 6 is 6. Divide by 9. You have 6 over 9, which can be simplified to 2 over 3. The third part for number 1, you have a fraction. And again, fractions, you have the same denominator, so you can just combine. You don't have to multiply by the least common denominator if you don't want. So let's add 8 over 5 to both sides. So you have 4/5 x is equal to negative 16 plus 8 is negative 8 over 5. So divide by 4/5. When you divide by a fraction, you flip the denominator. So this is what you really have. You have negative 8 over 5 times 5 over 4. Okay, so when dividing fractions, you flip the denominator. So you have negative 40 over 20. So negative 40 over 20 is equal to negative 2. So the third one, you have 2 and a 4. So let's multiply by the least common denominator. And the least common denominator here is 4. So let's multiply both sides by 4. So you have 4 times 5 over 2. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 over 2 is 10x minus 4 is equal to 4x. And you have 4 times 1/4 is 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now let us combine like terms. So here we can subtract 4x. So 10x minus 4x is 6x. So 6x minus 4 is equal to 1. So let's add the 4 to both sides. We have 6x is equal to 5. Divide by 6. X is equal to 5 over 6. And the last part of number 1, let's distribute first. 4 times 5 is 20 minus 4w over 3 is equal to negative w. Let's multiply both sides by 3. So when we multiply both sides by 3, we can cancel the 3's, or we can multiply and divide, which is just easier to cancel. So you're left with 20 minus 4w is equal to negative 3w, combining like terms, which means you're going to add 4w to both sides. So 20 is equal to 1w. or in other words, W is equal to 20. Number 2, here you have a word problem. You have a board with length x feet, which is this part. The other part has 7x minus 9. Express the length of the board as an expression of x. So you just have x plus 7x minus 9. Combining like terms, you have x plus 7x minus 9, which is equal to 8x minus 9. And that is just your expression that expresses the length of that board. Moving on to number 3. So here let us combine like terms. So you have t times t, which is t squared. T times 4 is 4t, is equal to t squared minus 2t plus 6. Combining like terms now, let's combine these t squares. You have a negative t squared, which cancels on both sides. So you're left with 4t is equal to negative 2t plus 6. Let's combine again, adding the 2t to both sides. You have 6t is equal to 6, and dividing by 6, you have 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1. Number 4, write each of the following as an equation and then solve. So number 4, the difference of 3 times the number and 1, so the difference is subtraction. So 3 times the number and 1 is the same as twice the number, so 2x. So now let's solve for x, combining like terms. Let's subtract 3x from both sides. Again, you want to get x alone, so negative 1 is equal to 2x minus 3x, which is negative 1x. Divide by negative 1, x is equal to 1. The next one from number 4, part B, 5 times the sum of a number. 5 times the sum of a number and negative 1 is the same as 6 times the difference of a number and 5. So the difference of a number and 5 is x minus 5. So now let's combine like terms. You have 5x. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, is equal to 6x minus 30. Combining like terms, let us bring 6x to the other side. 5 minus 6 is negative 1x, minus 5 is equal to negative 30. Add 5 to both sides. Negative 1x is equal to negative 25. Again, negative 30 plus 5. We have opposite signs. Opposite signs you subtract, and you keep the sign with a bigger number. And now you want to solve for x, which means you divide by negative 1. And negative divided by negative is equal to a positive. So x is equal to 25. And the next one, the room numbers of 2 adjacent classrooms are 2 consecutive even numbers. If their sum is 654, find the classroom numbers. So again, remember even numbers are x, x plus 2, x plus 4, and so on. So you have 2 consecutive even numbers, so you have x plus 2 is equal to 654. Combining like terms, 2x plus 2 is equal to 654. Subtract 2 from both sides. 2x is equal to 654 minus 2 is 652. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 326. And the next consecutive even number is 328. And these are your two consecutive numbers that total 654. And the last of these word problems is twice the sum of a number and 6. So twice the sum of a number and 6 is equal to 3 times the sum of a number and 4. So 3 times the sum of a number and 4. And let's distribute and combine like terms. 2x plus 12 is equal to 3x plus 12. Subtracting 3x from both sides. 2 minus 3 is negative 1x. Plus 12 is equal to 12. Subtract 12 from both sides. You have negative 1x is equal to 12 minus 12 is 0. Therefore, your answer is 0. And that completes Chapter 2, Sections 2 and 3 and 4.